Hi everyone, welcome back. Some of my students have been asking, where do we use equations to be able to solve situations like this when we got angles? So let's have a look at what's happening. Before we go to the equation, I want to have a look at what's going on here. Here's your parallel lines, which I refer to as railway tracks. They're never going to meet each other. Mine might be slightly out of a line. Let's have a look at what we got here. This angle is obtuse. This angle is acute. This angle is obtuse. This angle is acute. Now, most of you already know that, but I'm trying to show you the pattern: obtuse, acute, obtuse, acute. So we can go up down to here and we can do the same pattern: obtuse, acute, obtuse, acute. So when you look in those diagrams, we have all sorts of rules like alternate and co-interior and all sorts of things that we do with them. But all I want to look at is the fact that some of them are small, which is acute, and some of them are big, which is obtuse. So we got rid of those for a moment. We're just looking at those. By the way, all the acute ones are the same size and all the obtuse ones are the same size. So this one's obviously bigger than 90 degrees, and if you have any trouble with it, all you got to do is put the corner of a book. I can grab any book I've got here and put the corner in there. So there's a 90-degree angle, and you can see that the angle is actually bigger than that corner. So that's an obtuse angle, whereas this one over here is obviously smaller, like it's hidden behind that angle there. So it's smaller than 90 degrees. So this one's acute and that one's obtuse. So what do we talk about with an acute and obtuse? They add up to the magic number, and the magic number is 180 degrees. Let's have a look at it. That one there, which is 5x plus 20, plus that one there, which is 60, and they add up to how much? 180. Now, if you wanted to, you can draw up one of these diagrams, cut out that corner, and cut out that corner and put them next to each other, which I'm not going to do in this video, and you'll see that they make a straight line, and the straight line adds up to 180. There's your equation. Now, this is a little bit further than what we often did in my class earlier this year. Let's have a look at what happens with it. You're allowed to add the 20 and the 60, so that just becomes 80. And it's still got the 5x, that hasn't gone anywhere. And then we've got the 180. And lots of people in my class will remember me saying, how do I get rid of an 80? The opposite of a plus 80 is a minus 80. And if I add minus 80 from that side, I'm minus 80 from that side. So I balance up the scales on the equation. So it's equal. So it's still going to be equal, but look what's happened. We've gone from a fairly complicated equation to a little bit easier equation. Now 80 take 80 is gone, so I'm left with just the 5x. And then the 180 take the 80 is just 100. And now I've got a fairly easy equation. I do like it if my students can just go 5 what to 100, and a lot of you look at that and go, the answer's 20. If you don't know the answer's 20, there's a multiplication in there. How do I get rid of a multiply 5? If I divide this side by 5, I divide that side by 5, and I keep nagging people not to use divide that way. So I talk about don't use a divide like that. What have I seen in the 5,000 or 6,000 students I've taught over the years? Those who do it that way, when things get a little bit harder, they tend to make lots more mistakes. And I'm always looking for the quickest shortcut possible way we can do it. So when you write it like that, it's very quick to write it. The 5s cross out, and then you go, how many 5s go into 100? Now, I've had a problem with some of my students who keep on having trouble with how many 5s go into 100. In Australia, we have 5-cent coins, and how many 5-cent coins are going into 100? But here's one of the tricks you can do. Peekaboo method again. How many 5s go into 10? And it's twice, and there's a 0. So how many 5s go into 10? There's twice, and then we've got the 0. Now the 5s here cancel each other out. They don't become nothing, they actually become 1. So they actually become 1x, but you don't have to write that. So the answer to the question is 20. Now if you wanted to then, you can go back and check if we're right. Let's have a look. 5 lots of 20, 5 lots of 20 is 100, plus 20 is 120. So that turns out to be 120 degrees, and that turns out, of course, it's already 60, and that add up to 180. By the way, there's all sorts of shortcuts you could do if you know what you're doing, but for the moment, there's the method. So going to the one over here that looks a bit different. It's much the same, but it looks a bit different. This time, this one's an obtuse angle, and this one over here is obtuse. And now again, I could put the corner of the book there, and I could look at it and go, that one's bigger than 90 and that one's bigger than 90, and because they're both bigger than 90 and on parallel lines, they are the same size. So same size just means that we're going to say that the top one equals the bottom one. And what have we got again? We've got back to equations. So could you have done this without equations? Yes. You could have a guess and check and see if you can figure out the numbers. But especially as they get harder, making the equations is nice. So now I've got a plus 10 that I want to get rid of. I take 10 this side, I take 10 that side, and then the equation simplified to become just 3x, and then 100 take the 10 is just 90, and most of you will go 3 30s and 90, but if you can't, we divide that by 3, we divide that by 3, and we're left with 3 into 90 again. I'm going to cover over the 0. For those who are weak in their maths, 3 into 9 goes, 3, 6, 9 goes 3, and there's a 0 there. 3's cancelled out and you're left with 1x, we just write x. So that's how we can use equations to do something. We can go a lot further, we can make it more complicated, but this is year 8 level for what I'm talking about, and that's all you need to know on those. You'll get through most questions on that. Hope you're enjoying it. If you are, just press subscribe please if you haven't, and if you press like, it's really, really important to press like, because then more people get to see my videos. Thank you.